O-Level Biology 5090, Paper 1, Variant 2, May June 2025. And in this video, we will discuss from question number 1 to question number 20. So we will move towards the question number 1. And question number 1 is a student observes a human egg cell through a light microscope. The cell is 0.12 millimeter in diameter. So the actual diameter, not length. Actual diameter is 0.12 millimeter. The student draws a diagram of this egg cell. The diagram has a diameter of 4.2 centimeter. This is the drawing diameter, which is 4.2 centimeter. So this value is in millimeter and this value is in centimeter. So we have to change this centimeter value into millimeter, because we will calculate this in millimeter. So what is the magnification of the drawing to the nearest whole number? So first of all, I am going to write the formula for magnification. So magnification M is equal to yes, it is equal to drawing diameter divided by actual. So M is equal to, first of all, we will change the 4.2 centimeter into millimeter. So we will multiply 4.2 with 10. So it will become 42 millimeter. So we will divide 42 divided by 0.12. So the value is 350. 350. So A, B, C are not correct option. According to our calculation, the answer is D. Next question, which row correctly identifies a cell, a tissue, an organ, and an organ system? So here you can say, first of all, the chloroplast is an organelle. Cell vacuole is also organelle. Red blood cell is cell. A neuron also a cell. Now the tissue, mesophyll tissue, red blood, it is cell. Cell vacuole is organelle. Muscle is tissue. Then organ, liver is an organ, blood is tissue, stomach is an organ, leaf is an organ. Then system, digestive system. This is nervous system. Liver is an organ, urinary system. So only A, B, C are not the correct option. So according to our finding, identification, D is the correct answer. Now move towards the next question. And next question is, the diagram shows a species of arthropod. So arthropod, which group of arthropod does this species belong to? You can see this arthropod has many legs. So insects don't have many legs. First of all, it has segmented long worm-like body and many segments and many legs as well. Antennas are also present. So if we go to first option, which is arachnid, so arachnids have 8 legs and 2 body parts. 8 legs. So this is not correct option. And second is insects have 6 legs again. They have many legs. B is not correct option. Then we go on C. C, insects. Again, they don't have, they have 6 legs. Crustaceans have 10 legs and insects have 6 legs. So C is also not a correct option. D is the correct option. Myriapods, pods means many legs. So D is the correct option. Now move towards the question number 4, and question number 4 is which combination of factors will result in the fastest rate of diffusion across a membrane? Surface area of the membrane. You know the process of diffusion um, is that is the movement of the particles from an area of higher concentration towards the lower concentration. So the rate of diffusion can be increased uh, by larger surface area, and because the larger surface area provides more space or doors for particles to make through, at the same time increasing the overall speed. And temperature is a measure of kinetic energy, you know. So at high temperature, particles move faster and collide more often with speeds up the spread around the membrane. So we need larger surface area. So A and B cannot be the correct options. So, and we will go with the C and D. So at C, the temperature is high, at D, temperature is low. So D is not correct option, only C is here, which is the correct option. So we will move towards the next question, and next question is, a leaf is taken from some pondweed Elodea and placed on a microscope slide. A drop of sodium chloride solution is added. The cells of the leaf are then viewed through a light microscope. So you can see the leaf and you can see the cells in the, so the first statement, the cells are plasmolized because water has moved in by osmosis. If water is moved inside, they will not plasmolize, they will become turgid. So first statement is not correct. The second is cells are plasmolized because water has moved out by osmosis. Yes, they are plasmolized because water has moved, because the water concentration, water potential is higher inside as comparison to outside, because they are kept in salt solution. So that is the reason the water will move outside by the process of osmosis. So they will become, and the cells will become plasmolized. The cells are turgid because water has moved in by osmosis. Water is not moving inside because the outside solution is sodium chloride, which has lower water potential as comparison to the internal water. The cells are turgid because water has moved out by water. Cells are plasmolized when the water moved by the process of osmosis. So here the B is the correct option. Now the next question is question number 6. What is an example of biological catalyst? And students, you know, uh, the biological catalysts are the enzymes, which speed up a chemical reaction. So here the first option is bile. Bile don't have any enzyme inside. DNA is not an enzyme. DNA is protein, but it is not. Uh, Insulin is a hormone, and you can see it's not a correct option. Now you can see the maltase. Maltase is an enzyme which digests the maltose. So D is the correct option, and here maltase is an enzyme which acts as biological catalyst. Now, question number 7, what will be the result if the active site of an enzyme is damaged? If the active site, the substrate attach themselves on the active site of an enzyme, and on active site, the substrate attach itself. So they make enzyme substrate complex. Enzyme substrate complex. So, what will be the result if the active site of enzyme is damaged? If the active site is damaged, now we have to find out the correct option. The different product is produced from the substrate. For the formation of a product, for the production of a product, there should be the formation of enzyme substrate complex. If the active site is damaged, so this is the active site. If active site is damaged, there will be no formation of enzyme substrate complex. So A is not a correct option. The enzyme cannot carry out its specific reactions. Yes, this is the correct statement. The enzyme can no longer collide with the substrate molecule. It will collide in any other case when there will be high temperature, so it will start colliding. So here we are talking about attachment or the damage of the active site. If the active site is damaged, there will be no attachment. So enzyme substrate complex will form faster. It will not form. So only B is the correct option. It is going with the question. So the enzyme cannot carry out its specific reaction. Now question number 8 is there. You can see over question number 8. The graph shows the rate of activity of enzyme X at different pH values. All other conditions are kept constant. So here you can see rate of activity of enzyme is starting from at pH 4. pH 4, the acidic value. So it starts and it ends or at 9, and optimum you can see at 8. So we have to find out the question. So using the data shown graph, which statement is correct? Enzyme X is denatured in weak acid and alkali conditions. It is not denaturing, it is increasing. Its activity is increasing. So A is not correct. Then the kinetic energy of the substrate increases between 6 and 8. Between 6 and 8, kinetic energy is increasing. So this is not correct. Kinetic energy is determined by temperature, not pH. Kinetic energy will increase when the temperature will become high. But here, there is increase in the pH value. So B is not a correct option. C is the kinetic energy of the enzyme X is lowest at pH 4. Kinetic energy depends on temperature. Again, the same reason, that is, we are talking about pH, not about temperature. So there is no role of kinetic energy over here. The next is the frequency of active collisions between the enzyme and substrate is greatest at pH 8. Yes, it is greatest at pH 8. So D is the optimum value. So D is the correct option. Now moving towards the next question, and next question is, the students investigated the rate of photosynthesis at different light intensity. They counted the number of oxygen bubbles released per minute by a submerged aquatic plant placed at different sorry, they played at different light intensities. They counted the number of oxygen bubbles released per minute by a submerged aquatic plant placed at different distances from a light source. Light source. So the result would be expected from this investigation. So here you can see that the question A, distance from the light source 20 centimeter, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 120. So here you can see that at A, at when distance is increasing, as the distance is increasing. So it should decrease it. So at B, as the distance is increasing, so you can see the fluctuation at 20 it is 8, at 18, 37, 25, 19 and 6. Again, this is not correct option. Now you can see that as the distance is increasing, the number of bubbles are decreasing. At 20, they were 65 and then 62, 51, 45, 14, 4. So this can be the correct option. At next, you can again see the fluctuations. At 20, 37, 40 is decreasing 8, then 8, then 19, 23, and 45. So again, this is not a correct option. If the distance from light source, the photosynthesis can only take place in the presence of light. So the distance from light if is increasing, the number of bubbles per minutes are decreasing. So it means the process of photosynthesis is not taking place as there is light source is very away from that. So C is the correct option. A, B, and D are not the correct options. Question number 10. What is the balanced equation for photosynthesis? The first equation shows the process of photosynthesis, that is the three carbon dioxide and three water molecules. They are, and it is also not balanced equation. So A, this is the balanced equation for photosynthesis. This is not the balanced equation for photosynthesis. You can see, and second, 6 carbon dioxide, 12 water molecules, and again, you can see we need 6 carbon. So there are 3 carbon molecules. Again, we need 6 carbon, and you can see over there are 12 carbon. So this is not a balanced equation again. Now you can see 6 carbon dioxide and 6 carbon over here, 12 oxygen and 6 oxygen, 18, and oxygen. Hydrogen is 12, and you can see the oxygen is 18 on both sides. So C is a balanced equation. Carbon dioxide plus water, again, this is not a balanced equation. Only C is the balanced equation for photosynthesis. Now the question number 11 is glucose produced by photosynthesis can be converted into other carbohydrates or used immediately as glucose. What is an immediate use of glucose in plants? Building cell walls. Cell walls, for the formation of cell wall, it is stored up. You can say this is a storage process. So we can't say this is the correct option. Then we will move towards the um this is related to whereas the glucose provides energy. Then providing energy is in respiration. Yes. Storing energy again. Glucose is stored in the form of starch. So again, transporting energy in the phloem. Here you can see the storing energy excess glucose is converted again into the starch for later use. Not it is not uh, energy is not transported in the phloem. Phloem transport the food which is manufactured as a result of photosynthesis. So here B is the correct option for glucose. Which enzyme catalyzes the breakdown of its substrate at an optimum rate in a low pH? Amylase, carbohydrates, so it will not is a amylase is used to digest the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates start digestion in the mouth. So the pH is neutral. It needs pH lipase again carbohydrates, so alkaline nature is needed for them. So they need high pH. Maltose, again, maltose is a carbohydrate, so it is digested in the neutral medium. And now the pepsin is there. You know, the pepsin is created in the from the gastric glands in the stomach, so it needs low pH. That is at pH 2 proteins are digested. So pepsin is used to digest the protein. So 12 D is the correct answer. The diagram shows the human digestive system, which row shows the functions of the plants, parts labeled in the diagram. So you can see the absorption of water and storage of waste food material. You can see this is the liver. One is liver, three is stomach, small intestine, and two is the large intestine. So absorption of water and storage of waste food material takes place in the large intestine. So this is 2. So A, B and B are not correct option. C or D can be the correct options. Now completion of chemical digestion and absorption. You know, in the small intestine, ileum, the food digestion is completed and the absorption takes place over there. So this is 4. A, B, C are wrong options. Only D is the correct option. Now, question number 14 is there. And question number 14 is which substance are involved in the emulsification and digestion of fat, vegetable oil in the digestive system? Emulsification of vegetable oil. You know, the bile don't have any enzyme, but it is secreted by the liver. and it is used in the emulsification of fats or vegetable oil. So A and C can be the correct option. Hydrochloric acid, B and D are not correct. So digestion of vegetable oil. So lipase is an enzyme which is used to digest the vegetable oil. So protease is used to digest the proteins. So A and B, and only A is correct because in B there is hydrochloric acid, only bile is in A. So A is the correct option over here. Bile is used for the emulsification of vegetable oil, whereas the digestion of vegetable oil takes place by the enzyme lipase. Next question, what is not an example of the assimilation of absorbed food molecules? The use of amino acids to produce, which is not, word is not. So the use of amino acids to produce antibodies. Antibodies are proteins which are made from the amino acids. So this is a correct statement. The use of fatty acids to produce lipids. Fatty acids are used uh, to form the lipids because the fatty acids are the units of lipids. So again, this is a correct option. The use of glucose to produce glycogen. Again, glucose is used for the formation of extra glucose is used for the formation of glycogen. Again, this is correct statement. So the use of proteins to produce amino acids. Amino acids are the units. So amino acids are used to form the protein. So this is not the correct option, correct statement, but this is the correct option. A, B, and C are not the correct statements. So D is the correct option. Answer is D because they have used the word not an example. So D is not an example or not a correct statement according to the question. Now moving towards the next question number 16, and question number 16 is, what is the feature of anaerobic respiration in humans? Anaerobic respiration, type of respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. So A is not correct option. It produces carbon dioxide. Anaerobic respiration do not produce carbon dioxide in humans. So it produces lactic acid. So it releases more energy than aerobic respiration. So it releases less amount of energy. So again, this is not correct option. Only C is the correct option. Because when we do sphere exercise, our body respire anaerobically. As a result of anaerobic respiration, the lactic acid is produced in the muscles. Now, question number 17 is, yeast can respire aerobically or anaerobically. A student investigates the rate of aerobic respiration in yeast. The temperature is maintained at 35 degrees centigrade and the oxygen concentration is varied. Which graph would the student draw from their results? So on one y-axis, rate of aerobic respiration, or there is oxygen concentration. So as the oxygen concentration is increasing, the rate of aerobic respiration is also increasing, but after a certain uh, point, it becomes smooth. So it means aerobic respiration requires oxygen as a raw material. So as the oxygen concentration increases proportionally because there is more oxygen available for the yeast cell to use. So it becomes at a point which is saturation point. So the graph levels off. So this happens because oxygen is no longer the limiting factor. So A option can be the correct. Let me see the other options. So we move towards the other option, which is B suggests the rate increases. You can see as the oxygen is increasing, the rate of aerobic respiration is behaving differently. So it is impossible as enzymes and cell machinery have physical limits. So you can see the rate is not increasing, whereas the oxygen concentration is increasing. So B is not the, but you can see on C again, firstly, the rate of aerobic respiration is low, then it is increasing up to a level, and then it is start decreasing in the presence of high oxygen flow. Again, it is fine. It is opposite of the rate of aerobic respiration is decreasing, the oxygen is increasing. This is not possible. So A is the correct option in this case. Question number 18 is mammals have double circulatory system. What is meant by a double circulatory system? The blood is always enclosed in vessels or in the heart chambers? No. We this is not the reason. Double circulation. It is related with the double circulation. So the blood passes through the heart twice for each complete circuit of the blood. Once, yes, once in the form of deoxygenated blood and once in the form of oxygenated blood. You know, the systemic and pulmonary circulation. So the circulation consists of two types of blood vessels. No, there are three types of blood vessels, and blood is enclosed in this. It is not related with the circulation. So the heart consists of two chambers. Heart consists of four chambers. Again, this is not the correct. Only B is there, which is the correct option. Pulmonary stenosis condition caused by the narrowing of the entrance of the blood vessel leaving the right ventricle. Uh, Condition caused by the narrowing of the entrance of the blood vessels leaving the right ventricle. And you know the blood which leave from the right ventricle, it enters into the lungs through the pulmonary artery. So where the blood would flow be reduced but as a result of pulmonary stenosis. So here you can say the reduces blood flow to the brain. The blood is not going towards the brain. So A is not the correct option. Reduced blood flow to the left ventricle. It is not moving towards the left ventricle. Reduced blood flow to the lungs. Yes. From right ventricle, the blood which is deoxygenated blood, it has to go for oxygenation towards the lungs by the pulmonary artery. So reduce blood flow to the right atrium. Again, it will not move back towards the right atrium because there are walls present which stop to move in the backward direction. So only C is the correct option. Now we are moving towards the next question, number 20. Question number 20 is, in one beat of the heart, the muscles in the atria and ventricles contract and relax, pushing blood out of the heart and into the circulatory system. The diagram shows how long it takes for a heart to beat twice. So here you can see what is the heartbeat rate. With black color atria contact, with gray color ventricles contact, and white color atria ventricles relax. So here you can see the answer can be we have to calculate beats per minute. In the first of all, we know that on it is 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, and here you can see one is complete. One cycle is completed over here, and you it is less than 1.0 and it is more than 0.5. So here will be 0.75. 0.75. Now we will calculate its value. How? We will do, we know these 60 beats per minute, and in the second be 80 beats per minute. There are 0.75, and then the first option is 60 beats per minute. Now we have to find out the correct option. So and in B option 80 beats per minute, and in C 100 beats per minute and 120 beats per minute. So you know 60 seconds are equal to 1 minute. So we will divide this 60 by 0.75, which is equal to 1 beat, and this is the second beat. So in we have to find out 1 minute. So it will equal to 80 beats. So according to this, A, C, and D are not correct option. Only B is the correct option. So students, it was all about from question number 1 to 20. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.